Mason Rudolph saved Christmas for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So, this past week, Mason Rudolph made his first start in over 2 years since that 2020 season where Big Ben missed the game against Detroit due to illness. Mason Rudolph started that game and tied it. So he had to wait over 800 days, I believe it was, for his next start and his next win. He saved Christmas versus the Bengals because if the Steelers lost that game, their playoff hopes would have basically been zero. No chance of making the playoffs this season, but he blew out the Bengals 34-11, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers fans have hope during the holidays. So, Steelers, they have a chance to make the playoffs. They just need to win out and have some other games fall their way with some teams losing. This week went basically perfectly planned with all the low losses and the wins that happened during the division in the conference. And last week it really didn't go as planned because every team who they needed to lose ended up winning their games. But this week went as planned. And it looked like Mason Rudolph led the Steelers to victory. So looking at Mason Rudolph, what really went well for him, just looking at the game in general, let's start off with his pocket presence. He basically won the game from the pocket. How many times did we see him stick in the pocket, even though sometimes he took sacks? Yes, but how many times did he stay in the pocket and make throws that needed to be made on time, on target, because the first thing that came to his mind wasn't to scramble when under pressure. He stood in the pocket and made the throws. That's the difference between him and the other weeks with Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky. Yes, with Kenny Pickett, the Steelers had a really good record and a winning record. But with him, it seems like whenever he was under pressure, the first thing that came to his mind was to bail out of the pocket and go through the back door, and then he would get sacked for a lot of yardage or just make bad throws on the run. Maybe it's because he's more confident in making the throws on the run than stay in the pocket. Who knows? But that's his first thought, is escape the pocket when under pressure. Even Mitchell Trubisky, the first thing that he does is his eyes drop down. His eyes go from being on the field and looking at the receivers to right as soon as pressure happens, his eyes drop and he scrambles. And then his feet get messed up. He looks to run or bail out of the pocket as well, and that goes bad, and he throws interceptions. But Mason Rudolph, on the other hand, I guess he's been with the Steelers system for a long time. I don't know what it is, but it seems like him in the pocket, when under pressure, the first thing that's on his mind is to stay in there and still make the throw. And if he gets sacked, he gets sacked. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about taking the hit. He doesn't care about scrambling away. He makes throws while being in the pocket. We barely seen him make any throws on the run because that's not his forte. His forte is not running and throwing the ball or scrambling and picking up yardage. Yes, he was able to scramble for some yardage and pick up a first down here and there, but his main thing is staying on time and making the throws on target from the pocket. So his pocket presence was very good. Also, just looking at the game as well, his progressions. He was able to move off of one guy and get right to the second guy, or move off the second guy and get right to the third guy. He was able to make on-time throws because he was able to read the field nicely, and his eyes didn't get stuck in one place, staring down one receiver, like just staring down George Pickens, and then only throwing at George Pickens. He was able to stare at one guy, move quickly off of him if he knows that he's shut down, move over to the next guy. If he's not there, look to the other guy, dump it off. Or just make the right play. That's what was happening. Also, the third thing that Mason Rudolph did really good was just his gritness. Coming in the game, knowing it's your first start in over 2 years, knowing that your last game did not go according to plan, knowing the last time you basically started games was when Duck Hodges was also kind of replacing you and you were being benched, knowing that you, within this organization, many of the fans kind of doubted him, but then wanted him to play after Mitchell Trubisky played bad. Kind of the up and down career he's had so far in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the fans, but having the gritness to stay in the pocket, having the gritness to come out there and win a game that needed to be won. And that's what won the game for the Steelers. Those three things: his pocket presence, his gritness, and also just key progressions on the field as well. So Mason Rudolph, he saved Christmas, and now it gives the Steelers hope during the holidays and hope that they can make the playoffs. They need a win out. So Mason Rudolph saved it for the Steelers. Also, it seems like the fans were getting behind Mason Rudolph as well. The last time we saw Mason Rudolph starting, or even just starting a regular season, was when the fans didn't want him to play. They didn't want him to play. They wanted Duck Hodges instead because they thought he was a better quarterback. But now times have changed. Times have changed where Kenny Pickett gets injured, Mitchell Trubisky takes over, but the fans know Mason Rudolph is the better quarterback and he should be playing. And the fans start chanting his name even during the game. And after the Steelers are up big during one of the final possessions, you hear the fans chanting Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph, also singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer during the holiday times. You hear them singing his name, singing it, and kind of chanting his name. So times have really changed with Mason Rudolph and these fans. And Mason Rudolph, it must have felt nice for him hearing your name be chanted after all the hard times he's dealt with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he said after the game this quote, "I think I said this week that we're all human. I'd be lying if I say I didn't enjoy it or I didn't like it. It's a week-to-week league. I've been on the other end of it, I said, so I tried to block it out and play the game. I mean, we still had a second half to play, despite the lead. So you can't let the entire mind and let yourself relax for a second. But you know, we've got a bunch of passionate fans, and what a joy to play in front of them tonight. You know, last home game, all my family in town, it was amazing." So that was his quote, basically saying how he really liked hearing the fans chant it, and even though he's trying to play the game, he's still human and he hears those type of stuff. And it's kind of nice to see from Mason Rudolph, because he also said later on in the interview after the game that he isn't even sure if he'll be still an NFL QB in 2024. He doesn't even know what his future holds. And this is a direct quote. "Yeah, I think you never know. You have confidence in yourself as a player, but you're kind of thinking, am I going to jump into commercial real estate realm next year or still playing quarterback?" Absolutely. Those thoughts cross your mind. So that was his quote. And what you could kind of tell from that is he hasn't played in over 2 years. He hasn't started a game in over 2 years, and he's a third quarterback on the roster. And sometimes in this league, time passes you by and you're out of it quickly. So he doesn't even know if he's ever going to get another chance to play in the game, play in the NFL before he played against Cincinnati. And he was kind of maybe planning some other stuff outside of football just in case if teams don't want to sign him anymore. And in this league, time passes you by quickly, and next thing you know, you're out of it. So maybe he was kind of trying to plan his future, and he doesn't know if he would be in the NFL or be doing something else in 2024. But now, obviously, he still will be in the football if he wants to play in the NFL next season because of what he showed during this game. So one game changes everything, and it looks like it changed a lot for Mason Rudolph, but beforehand, he didn't know what his future held. Also, Naji Harris, he spoke about Mason Rudolph, and he was very happy with the Steelers fans and how they presented themselves cheering on their team. In the past, you see Naji Harris getting upset at the fans, saying they need to support their guys, support this team more, and start getting behind them more. And obviously, him calling out the fans in previous weeks, he was actually very happy and pleased with the fans this week cheering on Mason Rudolph and getting him going and getting the teams going, especially after all they've been through this season with all the changes on offense and all the bad play that they've had. So, the Steelers, they win the game. Mason Rudolph wins the game. The fans start chanting Mason Rudolph. They start cheering and singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And the Steelers have hope during the holidays now because Mason Rudolph won the game in Cincinnati. And now we have another week to wait to see if we're still alive in the playoff race. It gives us another week of hope instead of all of the season being thrown away if we lost. So Mason Rudolph, he saved Christmas, he saved the holidays, and hopefully next week he does the same and they do the same. So the Steelers win, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. how you think the Steelers won the game. Do you think it was because of Mason Rudolph, or do you believe it was just more of a team effort altogether? Do you think it would have mattered who would have been at quarterback if it was Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky, or do you believe Mason Rudolph is the quarterback? Let me know your thoughts, and if you think he should just continue playing and continue starting once the other guy gets healthy in Kenny Pickett, or do you believe they should move back to him? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers and everything from news, rumors, highlights, reports, analysis, film breakdowns. I'm actually doing a film breakdown tomorrow with a reaction, so get ready for that. Turn on notifications. It's going to be the same time around this video was posted, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. So turn on notifications to this channel so you never miss out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.